is the Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
So why would you listen to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast?
Am I right, bada bing?
Here we go. Now, here we go. Here we go. Now, here we go.
Oh! I laughed way too hard at that. That's the worst thing ever. And welcome back to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast. Good start. I'm doing great. Good start. What's going on? We're here with me, Richie, and of course with Vince.
Yep, that's correct.
This sucks.
This is Richie's probably third time maybe doing an intro. You're doing good.
You're doing good.
You got it.
I'm your master of ceremony here at the Monster Jam. All right, we got very special guests here. We got rapper REDD. We got Kyne, Mac Mowl. What is up, guys? Mac Mowl. Mowl?
Mac Mowl.
It's all good.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
no.
Restart. Restart.
Did you look at the mole on my neck for a second?
Mowl.
You're like, mole. Mole.
How to chop it up and make guacamole.
Mole. Yeah, dude. 8th grade was awesome when that movie dropped. that shit was sick.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, hey.
I remember like my parents wouldn't let me watch it. Like right away, it's like that Austin Powers is dirty. And then everyone came to school and they're like, "You're not gonna believe how great this movie was." And it was like, I'm so sad.
Everyone's running around saying, "Yeah, baby," you know. And I don't get it.
I was so confused when that first came out. I was like, why does he have such nasty teeth? And why is he always in the
Right,
70s?
right.
But it gets
What's
Getting
a
all the hot
mojo?
girls.
What's a mojo?
And Beyonce. My Beyonce with those teeth. Like, come on.
How did he do that? This is-
Jesus. He has a good personality.
It's a great personality.
I don't get it.
have you ever lied as a kid like that you saw
What?
a movie?
Yeah.
Have you ever
yeah.
lied
oh,
as a
lie
kid?
that I saw. a movie.
Period.
Yeah.
I did that with
Yeah.
School of Rock when that came out. Everyone's like, and I lied about it for like a couple months.
What?
Until it came out on DVD.
And then you see
And
it.
now
And I
deep
saw it.
down,
And I
that's
know the
why,
whole movie by
yeah.
heart.
Now you do so many School of Rock quotes. You're just like, see, guys, I do
I'm still
know it.
trying
You're
to
burying
prove
that
it
lie.
from 6th grade.
cello, you got a bass.
So what's going on, guys?
We got a full
What
room
up?
of people.
This
Yeah.
is a lot.
A little
This is
crowded,
good.
but we good.
Yep.
Hello. What is going on with you guys?
All right, everyone go around the table, say what they're thankful for. I just want to start off saying family, of course.
Always.
Yep.
I'm happy that the
absolutely.
Lions won.
Absolutely.
That's solid stuff right there.
Bless
Patriots.
that.
Patriots, nonetheless, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is you were just joking, but that apparently was an accurate statement.
Oh, that was a shot in the dark.
I'm just thankful that the Lions won.
It's either they lost and everyone laughs because I'm being sarcastic, or they won and everyone's like, yeah, it's true.
yeah,
It's
They,
good.
they
That's
did
good.
win. You said a
It's
thing that's
win-win.
true.
It's funny that you said that too, because I'm the one who knows the least of
Least
football.
amount.
Out of these two. I'm like, yeah, they won.
I like occasionally like
Oh, so the
eavesdrop.
Lions play football.
Ah.
Okay, that's
Okay,
what it
that's
is.
what it
okay,
is.
good.
I like do that where I'll go to like the bar and like when I'll be waiting for a drink and like there's a game on and I'll just see like a strange like 40-year-old guy just this is a one day out and he's just like watching a game and I'll just lean into him knowing nothing about sports and be like, how we doing? And I'll be like, well,
You see the glow.
yeah, he's like,
Oh, he loves it.
well, you know.
Well,
And
where
I'm
do I
like-
start off with this game?
And I just keep saying more and more vague sentences and they never figure it out that I don't know what we're even talking about.
Oh my god.
A nice nod and a smile lets people know you're listening. Just
He's like, you can see me?
Yeah, wow.
Thought I was a
No
ghost.
idea what you're talking about.
he does not know that there's layers to that. You're just messing with him on some.
This is my one day out too, and this is what I like to do.
Let's play with people.
Oh man.
Man.
So you guys had some big stuff on the horizon lately and upcoming, right?
Yeah.
Let's get real super just interviewee just in the
Yeah.
beginning, and then we'll see where it goes.
shit.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. But yeah, no, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I know that we play for Mod Sun
Yeah.
October 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
Opening for him, and then after that, there's so much stuff. Like
We actually have one before that too.
oh yeah,
Hyped Up
Hyped Up
Live.
Live, the 16th.
Yeah, it's basically like it's recorded live, but it's has post production, like studio post production work. So it's basically
Okay.
like tracked in the program and like
Videotaped
yeah.
and everything.
So you can basically like do the post production work after, and then line up the video with like the good quality sounding live video too.
Yeah. So it's giving the appearance of live with still the post production of
the
it.
quality
Right,
of the
so it sounds
post-production,
good.
Yeah.
So it's still like an acoustic type thing.
Yeah.
Which is a thing too, because you know when you go live, you get that full experience. But then when you try to record it, it doesn't always. It's not always that. It doesn't get the same effect. You're not feeling the beat.
Right.
You know, you're not. You know, it's a whole different experience. Just like when someone, you know, they're trying to capture that moment of the concert on their iPhone, and it just looks like a rainbow threw up and screaming at you. And you're like, okay,
They're coming back so excited about the video. You have to see this, and it's the most underwhelming thing
It's
you've ever seen.
yeah. So it's like, how do you bring that live feeling of like the actual performance, but then they still have the quality to where they go, okay, you know, because I mean, video is 6/5 audio basically. So if the audio sucks and they go, oh, I guess they're not that good. It's like, well, no, they were that good. You just had to be there.
Yeah.
Do you ever see that in, I think it's I Love You Man, where he's trying to get his wife to be like, no, Rush is the greatest band ever.
yeah.
And then he plays it on his MacBook, and it's like,
But
That's
it's only
such a
as
good
loud as
scene.
it goes.
losing his mind, and she's like,
It's coming up right
Big
here.
speakers. Big speakers. That's such a relatable scene.
It's
for
so
sure.
funny. Like I'll be like, because I'll be at a concert, I'll be like, someone's got to see this. In my mind, they're like, they'll hear the song and be like, I like that song too, but no, they're just like, ow.
They
my
get the
ears.
Snapchat. It's
Never
like,
mind.
That's amazing. No, but on the live subject too, that's like one of the things, like you said, is like you go to record it, you've been doing it, nailing that perfectly, like actually live, and then the moment you go to record, suddenly you're tone deaf, you can't rap anymore. Like, this is a common thing too, and it happens like all the time. I actually have just said I want him to record me because I lack the discipline to keep myself from like just doing it right. Like, I know how to record myself right, but it takes someone else, or else I'm just gonna get lost in the sauce that is the program.
Yeah.
And, like,
Okay.
Not like, if I just, all I need to do is punch in, do one take right here, and it's done. I'm gonna wait like 3 or 4 hours just because I want to mess with other stuff.
Yeah.
Part of it is probably because it's so easy, and that it could just be done like that.
Well,
so
you
it
know
makes
what
it
you're
easier
doing,
to blow
so
off.
it's accessible to you, so
Yeah.
you can.
But yeah, I definitely, I feel like I would rather do everything live too.
Yeah.
In the end.
You know what's kind of interesting too? I was thinking about this earlier. Is like rappers. I feel like they have the same feeling as stand-up comedians in that you go on stage and it's almost supposed to look like you're kind of doing it all on the spot. That it's not necessarily written on the spot, but it's like, oh, he's freestyling, unless someone really, really knows the song.
Right.
And I feel like it gives it that same feeling. But we know that it takes time. You got to write. It takes a lot of thought. You're really, every single word has to count. It's not just you just went up there and thought of nothing. Okay, I'm just
Right.
gonna go.
Well,
there might be some freestyles that do that, but I'm saying
Yeah.
for particular songs.
Even in an improv sense, a part of it is mentally rehearsed, like at some point before you reach the stage. Like, you know what? Whether or not you are like ready for the reaction or a heckler or like whatever, and you come back with like a witty like part of you has been prepared and like has been ready for that, but you just haven't actually dealt with it. So it makes it easier when you actually deal with it.
Yeah, because there is like a sense of like it is on, like if we're talking about a heckler in this thing, it is on the spot, but at the same time, it's only an effective response because it's the 1000th heckler or the
Yeah.
200th bachelorette party that showed up to the comedy show. You're like, got it. She's gonna say this, she'll spill her drink, and then I say that. Everyone laughs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like totally scripted.
Yeah. But that's interesting. I was gonna ask, as far as that goes, if like if there is not a written part of the song, is that, and it is actually supposed to be improvised, how much of that is, I don't know, in a sense, offhand rehearsed? You know what I mean?
There's
that
like,
makes sense?
Yeah, like there's sometimes where we'll have songs that we've rehearsed and like planned to do, and then the last minute while we're on stage, I'll be like, nah, we can't do this right now. I'm dying.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially if it's like a new one that we just put
Yeah.
in there, and we're like, we're gonna see how it goes and like see how the crowd's working.
crowd's
with it.
already with
yeah,
you,
and then if it is, then we'll be like, yeah, let's do it. But if not, we're like, nah, we're not gonna do that one. Move on to the next one.
Just
We
like
always
stand
have
up.
something backed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure. I actually, back to the heckling thing too, I actually enjoy hecklers because it feels like it breaks the ice. If you respond well, it breaks
Right.
the ice
Yeah.
for the audience, and they're like, it makes them more like inviting, like your personality inviting to them, I
Right.
guess. Like, because you warmed up, you made them laugh, or you don't seem like a
Yeah.
stiff up there not knowing what you're doing. And
It's also that
Yeah.
one extra layer of letting the audience let their guard down, of being like, oh, this isn't rehearsed, and then they let their guard down the rest of the time and be like, no, I wrote the rest of this.
No, there was one show that he we were setting up and we had some technical difficulties while he was setting up. We were like setting up our we got a stand and everything. And it took him a minute, so he had to let his laptop charge because it just died.
That's
so it was a couple minutes before we actually started the set.
Yeah.
So there's people yelling at him get off the stage and blah blah blah.
You're at the wrong show.
Yeah,
Well, on top of it, we decided to wear all dress because we like to coordinate
New Year's.
outfits.
It was New Year's Eve.
Yeah, so we we did wear dressy outfits to this hella twisted clown juggalo fucking these. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said shit before and nobody said anything.
Yeah.
I was like,
You're like peeking and you're like,
yeah. But yeah, so it was they were yeah, you're at the wrong show because he was wearing this. What was it? You had a red shirt on and then but the button up underneath.
Right.
So he's looking like a little preppy boy at this
Yeah.
So they're you're at the wrong show.
Like he's actually lost.
I have no idea where I'm at.
He's looking at a map on stage. This isn't it.
I'm supposed to be on DeQuinder?
This garment is broken. I'm telling you.
Well, no, we were out of state too, so it made it a little more awkward.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
not being
yep.
comfortable. Out
You're
there.
100% lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back to the story was I was able to call out the audience right away, and I came in not super aggressive, but
Yeah.
I was I came out and I was I heard y'all saying some shit to my DJ before I came out. Aren't we all supposed to be family here?
Yeah.
And then they all cheered, and it was all
And,
right.
and then we played our set, and then they were totally about it
One
after.
of the best
and
sets
I'm
we've ever had.
how
Oh,
bad
wow.
does that guy feel?
Yeah.
You feel like shit, don't you? Good.
Yeah. This is a nice shirt. I
I
ironed
love
it before I
that
got
shirt.
here.
This is my mom got me.
My
I am
grandma got me.
You think Christmas just happens?
Yeah, when I was in a band, man, I would purposely try to dress as Mr. Rogers as much as possible. The sweaters, the whole thing.
Irony's funny.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
so I'm getting up there and I'm trying to getting ready for the song and all that. And you have these people, just dressed, trying to look as much like their favorite rock star as they could, and they're like, "What's going on?" People leave, but then once I start playing, then people perk up what the.
It adds that extra thing. Their guard was down.
Right.
Yeah, their guards
Irony,
down,
yeah.
expectations low. They're like, "Oh my God, look at Mr. Rogers!
Mr. Rogers can play.
Well, I feel like that's a talent in its own, is being able to surprise people,
pull that
considering,
reaction.
I feel like that's something that's I consider a double-edged sword is my red hair, is being a rapper and younger. It's easy for me to not be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Middle school kids, high school kids, during those times, it's easy for I'm just a fucking white boy ginger kid with red hair
Yeah.
from suburbia spitting rhymes
Yeah.
Yeah.
And looking back, I wouldn't take me serious. I was like,
Nah.
what the hell you doing, kid?
Yeah.
But now I feel like it plays into a positive, a good trait and a good quality
Yeah.
to have, because it's the surprise factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that the other day of I was doing this show and it was okay, but I was the youngest one there. You'd think it was a dad tour of comedians. and
We got puns.
Yeah, they were all better than me at stand up, and their sets are much better than mine. But they weren't doing that well, and then I went up and I think I had probably one of the better sets of the night.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was I think it's because the guard is a lot down. I'm just I'm apparently younger. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
obvious. And I thought that added to it a lot of them thinking oh, he's not gonna, because I feel like everyone's just is this dad gonna teach us a lesson via I don't want to hear it.
Now, are most comedians, since you're in the circuit, I don't know if it's a lot the music thing where there's this unspoken tension because whether or not
depends.
you get along with the people and
Yeah.
talk with them, agree with them, you're still at the end of the day competing in the same market. And,
I feel like there's less of that. It depends. It definitely feels like that sometimes, but I think at least and other people have said that out of state of Detroit's a really good comedy scene as far as you should see when someone makes it. Someone gets a Comedy Central special or they get their own hour special, whatever it is. Everyone spends the next week just promoting the hell out of it. So it's weird. I mean, you definitely feel that at some times of where you're just
I bet there's the few people
Oh, yeah.
that are just like that.
Yeah, you're gonna have those people that are like, wait, why is he doing well?
Yeah.
I'm funnier than that guy.
Yeah.
All type of stuff. But it could be too, because since the Detroit scene, it's kind of funny when you say the Detroit scene for stand-up comedy, because
You
no
think New York,
one's,
LA,
no one's
yeah.
rushing to Detroit. But at the same time, I think because of that, if someone does do well, we want to be supportive. We want people to say
Right.
like, "Oh, where'd he come from? He came from Detroit." You know, like, "Oh, I know that guy."
You feel a sense of pride.
You
know,
feel a sense of
everybody-
pride
yeah.
and community versus like a competition of, you know, I got to do better than this guy and
Yeah.
I got to do better than that guy.
Other comics have said New York and Chicago are much more with that vibe of
I could see
competing,
that,
whereas
especially New
Detroit
York.
doesn't.
Well,
yeah.
because like hip hop, even with New York, like when you hear about hip hop in New York, it's just like, man, this is the jungle out here.
Yeah.
It's New York. Like this is
Yeah.
everybody's a rapper, and but like New York is huge, and there's people everywhere, and there is a lot of people that are really good out there. So it's like sometimes I'm very thankful to be a small pond, big fish type
Yeah.
deal. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like instead of getting lost in the jungle or
Yeah.
some big ass city.
And it definitely speaks for it once you do, or the fact that you are seeing this success in this scene. It then says it's almost like you beat that level of Detroit, like you beat a level, and then it speaks a lot more as opposed to if you made it to this point, I guess maybe in New York. And so I think it'll definitely provide a lot more momentum than it might have otherwise.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
there's
crazy.
there's
That's awesome.
like just being in like the music scene for so long, I've seen so many different like venues with so many different vibes of different artists, and hitting that level that you're talking about is like every single time that you hit it, you're like, oh shit, like I think we just made a whole entire different stepping point.
Yeah.
Like, we have said
the milestones.
yeah, like saying that we're not going to play this venue because of the way that the manager of the venue taught us. Like we're past that point of being like that. And
Yeah.
then we don't like being like that, but like once it comes and hits that point, we're like, okay, we know where we stand.
You're allowed to
Yeah.
be picky, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I can
Yeah.
be picky.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
and-
crazy.
That's nice. Yeah.
Mhm. It is
And
very
it's like
nice.
a humbling picky
Yeah.
because you're like an abused dog beaten to the point of where you just don't think you can be. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Because you're just
Yeah.
like you haven't gotten your way. You've been frustrated on the come up the whole time, and then when you finally are able to, you know, have creative control and just
You're
how
pretty
it's
much done with it at
it's
that
just
point.
like,
Yeah.
and
what
you're-
the hell is this?
We're literally just like, you know what? Nah, like we got another show that day or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll pick something up to play, so it's actually like, you know, viable that we reliable that we actually do something on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. I know for me now, I wasn't really doing much of the band scene once I hit 21, so it might be different in terms of 21 in bars. But I mean, we were always at the point where it's like, oh, you want to play here, you got to sell X amount of tickets,
Yep.
and if
Yeah.
you don't sell those tickets, you have to pay for those tickets, and whoever sells the most tickets gets the headliner, and it
right.
goes down.
Right.
Is that still kind of like
Yeah,
that?
at the yeah, not like, you know, it's occasionally like from Odd Sun we're selling tickets, but we don't have to sell tickets.
Yeah.
But
Right.
they're giving us tickets to sell for
Our
the show.
bigger
Yeah.
show,
You
our
know what I
bigger
mean?
shows we normally would.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still not to the point of where it's like there's this like mediocre but kind of like number one on like a random website like Reverb Nation in Detroit. Like he's playing at the small room in the Crowfoot. You know what I mean? What is it
Yeah.
called? I don't even know.
What?
Well, the ballroom, that's the
room?
big one, right?
Ballroom.
The pike
Yeah,
room.
Yeah, pike room.
room,
There
pike
it is.
room,
Yeah,
yep.
he's like playing in the pike room. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And you got to sell 100 tickets for this
Yeah.
guy who you don't even really
Oh,
know.
You
but,
sell
like,
100
Oh, he's
tickets, you're gonna
probably
fill
not
the
even
room.
selling
Yeah.
any. Everyone
Yeah.
else that's playing it is selling the
like
tickets.
we've been
Yeah.
there before, and it's so nice not to be like with that anymore. At least,
Yeah.
Yep.
at least people like maybe we're the mediocre ones. People are selling tickets for now. But, yeah.
That's sweet.
Where are areas where you guys see like yourself improve as far as like stage presence? You know what I mean? Like over the years.
You know, ever since like day one, we've been having like someone that's always. I remember like when we first started this, we had a quote unquote agent that was actually helping us, but she had a boyfriend that was like really heavily involved in music, and we would perform our set in front of them at home while they sat on the couch, and we would rehearse the set 2 or 3 times, and they would tell us what we need to do.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
everything like that. So when every single time that we get off stage, usually there's 1 or 2 people like, your energy is amazing up there.
That's good.
And we like, I mean, like, even
and then
though
you
we
wait
hear
for
that,
the butt.
Yeah.
but yeah,
You
right.
always-
But-
you can always
yeah,
improve.
yeah.
I mean,
We can always improve, and you know, it's not like we're sitting at home and you know, like it's 2 weeks before a show and we're like, oh, we got time. No, we're rehearsing it. So because
Yeah.
we don't trust ourselves enough to actually just get out there and do it.
Well, there's like those humbling experiences too, where you like, you start to become confident in your abilities after a while, but then you realize that if you don't rehearse, you're not going to do as well as when you did rehearse.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Even though you know those songs like the back of your
yeah, and even like we opened for Yellow Wolf, and we just didn't rehearse. Well, it was we got
That was like
booked
last
like a
minute.
week.
yeah, it was
week in
last minute.
advance,
We got
so
a week
it
in
was
advance
kinda
notice,
tight.
and so we only got
Hilarious.
to rehearse once. And I did a performance with a song with a girl that I got a single coming out with, but we barely rehearsed that song at all either. And so like, and this is Yellow Wolf, and we're playing to like 1,500 people, and I just wasn't like, the set was good. But it just like when you're on stage and you're performing, whether or not everybody's telling you they enjoyed
It
it,
felt
you
mediocre.
can
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
As soon as
your
you got off, you're
genuinely
just like,
good
nah,
stuff.
We could have done
Yeah.
it totally
Yeah.
better.
It's not up to your
Yeah.
fullest potential.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's still good to know that. Like, yeah, I think the more you're humbled, the better. Like the more often you will grow. Too from it. Like you have to fail to win.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only, I feel like the only
Something.
time like good productive change is gonna come where you're just like, what was that?
You
Yep.
need a slap in the face,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I did not enjoy that.
Gosh, I hope that doesn't happen again.
I would prefer not to do that.
And there's nothing worse than that drive home where you're just like, that could have been much better.
Yeah.
If
Yep.
I would have just did this, like it could have, but for some reason I didn't, or it was last minute or whatever.
It's so funny that like you brought that up because usually the drive home is how we
yeah.
sometimes
The
we
silent
don't
drive home.
we don't usually
They're either
when we get off
somber
stage
or
we
just
don't
like-
usually go like, oh my god, that was a great set, or like, that wasn't that good. Like we all feel on the way home like the vibe that everyone has, and then it'll be quiet for a second, and then it'll be like, yeah, so we're gonna rehearse next time, right? As much as we can.
It's almost
right?
that weird silence, like
Just
someone
like
died.
10
like-
minutes, we're like, so.
Oh, yeah.
Or if we're driving home and the music's up blasting and we're just doing stupid shit, it was a good set. That's
Yeah.
how we
Yeah.
all know. It's
Yeah.
like an unspoken thing that we all
Your
have.
adrenaline's
Yeah.
all up. And
Yep.
you're,
Yeah.
that's the best.
A lot of times I can tell when we're about to have a good show is like, because like we're a group of friends, obviously, like at its core, but we're you bastard.
Not here, guys, outside of podcast.
Until now, this whole time. It's about being on that same page. So if like even the night before a show, we're all like on the same like type of inside joke, like this just natural
Yeah.
chemistry between people.
Yeah.
It's gonna translate into the stage the next day.
You're
And-
synced up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's way better that way. And you can't control when that happens. Like, you really can't. You can try. You can try to contrive a situation where you're like, let's be best friends. Like, this is,
I just want to split a large fry.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What do we do?
you guys are still annoyed of each other being nice.
So I think what's interesting with you guys is you guys are a like a rap group. You're not usually when you think of rappers, you're thinking of individuals who occasionally will feature on each other's songs. But you guys are kind of a group. What kind of made you guys say, hey, let's do it together? And what kind of keeps you guys together? Because I know, especially with with bands and stuff, you're worried, okay, is this guy to get here on time? What's his schedule looking like? This the part that I like about us being a comedian is I just know if I'm available, I can go. If I'm not
Right.
available,
Yeah.
I can't go.
Exactly.
I'm not letting anyone down. I can go up there. I don't got to worry. So talk about that.
Man, where do we start with that?
The year was 1980.
Yeah, right.
Well, we're fortunate enough to have jobs where we can take
Make
work
our own
off when,
schedule.
whenever
Yeah,
we want.
that definitely
So,
contributes to
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yep. But I don't even know where to start. Like, because me and Jeremy have been involved with this ever since I was 16 when he lived in Howell, and I would drive there every weekend. And there was another guy in like our band. You want to talk like say that word, but like it wasn't really a band. but it
Group,
was a band.
yeah.
Group,
Yeah.
But like
Crew.
we used to do that every weekend, and then when we were 18 and just out of high school, we moved down to Nashville, and then that was like a big thing. And then we moved back, and then everything kind of fell apart. And then I had my shit that I was going through, and I left for a while, and then I came back, and now when we started it back up, I started working where I can make my own schedule.
Yeah.
So if I needed to take time off for a show, I could do that. Or, like rehearsal or something like this, I can work around my own schedule. And then the way that we've always just kind of like kept together is because of the fact that I know what his schedule is.
Yeah.
And he knows what I'm doing. I know what he's doing because we work together. So
Yeah.
it's like, like we can all just kind of work around and work with each other. So that's the only
It's
way.
almost knowing too much personal information about the
Yeah.
person you're
Pretty
with.
much.
Too much.
Pretty much.
Like, man, I
Yeah.
know when this guy's gonna take a dump. Like,
I can make it.
Yeah.
I can make an accurate diss track if this guy betrays me.
that's the bad thing about your best friend.
He doesn't pay his taxes.
Yeah.
You see his return last year,
Yep.
less than what he wanted.
What do you want?
Disappointing amount.
You should see his room. Never does his laundry. It's just like real. Like I don't even know if that's insulting.
His sheets,
Yeah, right.
the corners hanging off.
Accurate.
All it takes is 2 seconds to just tuck it back.
So now, do all three of you guys work on the beats, or does only one of you work on the beats or the track? However you guys want to say it.
I mean, we all have our like set positions, but I feel like we're all prolific enough in each area
Yeah.
to contribute to each other's
Yeah.
artistry.
Work
like,
together.
Yeah.
So what's kind of your guys' positions, roles?
Well, I mean, he's a rapper. I'm a rapper.
I sit there and do nothing.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, but like I don't know. He produces, but he's also a great vocalist too.
Yeah.
Like, and we didn't even realize this until like last year, and like he just started messing around with it. You know what I mean? He just started playing with it, and then now he does background vocals on songs. Like,
But like for the most part, he like makes the beats.
Yeah,
When we sit
production.
behind, we sit behind him. If like I have an idea, I'll say it. But for the most part, I just let him do him.
Yeah.
And then because like I don't know where like it's like I want like a bass right there. I want it right there, and it's not there. And he like just looks at me and he was like, "I'm not there yet." And I'm like, "All right, sorry, I'm gonna step back and just let you do your thing."
Making a beat is tedious,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
So usually I just now I just let him do his thing.
it's
And-
either 100% collaborative or a bunch of people sitting in a corner with their own folder up. Like, don't look at my text.
yeah.
You know
Don't
what
look
I
at my
mean?
text.
Yeah. It's your own
That's
answers.
hilarious.
Yep.
Well, that's good. I could feel like that it could lead to stepping on toes, but it doesn't sound like it does. Where it's just like, just trust me.
And the few times we've gotten close, we're I feel good enough friends to be aware and perceptive of if there is tension or like like
if you got a problem, you're gonna say something.
you're gonna say it. Yeah, like if you feel like that's not cool or I don't feel like they're making me feel even to the point of feeling vulnerable and uncomfortable. Like I'm insecure about that. Like it's okay to say.
I want a
that.
banjo in the song, and I need you to not talk about it.
It reminds me of my dad.
No, we want each other to grow too. So
Yeah.
if he's wants to work on the production program, he can work on the production program. It's not like I'm gonna get mad because he's doing something he doesn't normally do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We just won't listen to that song.
Yeah, no, specifically.
We're gonna
And
delete
when
it
it
as
comes
soon as it's
on,
done.
stone face looking at your phone. Just,
That was good. I thought that.
So
good, bro.
so I guess how does the process go? Do you guys make the beats and then rap over it, or do you think of like, okay, these are the lyrics I want to do, these are some ideas I want, and create a beat that kind of matches that?
I feel like it happens.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, it happens. I feel like it happens both ways for sure. Because we can either just start with like a melody and a piano, like just raw, or he just starts from drums up and makes
Yeah.
the whole entire beat, and then we write to a structured thing, or we structure it as we go. That's what I really actually enjoy about having somebody who makes beats. Is like, I can tell you how I feel, how I envision this creation.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of like paying for a beat on YouTube, like
Right,
that's the shallow thing about being a rapper. Sometimes is like it's a lot of instrumental based and pre-made things,
Yeah.
like, and you're just putting your take on it. Whereas I think it's cool to construct something from the ground up. And
If someone who's prolific with it, like you said, and you can say this is how I'm feeling, not even in a funny way of just like this is how I want the song to feel because this is where these lyrics are. You can trust him to do that.
Yeah,
because he's
exactly.
Good at it.
And that's a part of knowing someone's personality is how you would translate their creativity in your own way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because you want to, like, if he's making a beat for me, he's gonna want it to sound like him, but it sound like a Red beat. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's gonna and it's yeah.
And there's like always sometimes like, there's times where he's not there or I'm not there and then they work on their stuff or me and Jeremy will work on stuff. We'll pull up something that was from a couple weeks back and it's just like a melody. That's all it is. It's just like a guitar. And then we vibe off of that. And then the next day we'll come back and he'll make a beat for it. Like it's always different the way that, like we can, no matter if we're feeling the vibe, we're going to do something no matter what. So
now, do you guys actually play any instruments that you put into your tracks, like guitar, bass, or
Yeah.
drums, or anything like that?
Hell
Okay.
yeah. We suck at instruments, but
we make it work.
we're really good.
Anything
We're really good at
electronic.
programs. Great at programs. So you don't like. with like anything you hear guitar on any of our songs is the ukulele hanging up in my room. Post production
nice.
made
Hilarious.
sound like a guitar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Programs are awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's talk about diss tracks.
Let's get it.
Let's go straight. We're going straight to diss
My
tracks.
real question is, how much of that is PR? For like,
That's what I think that's.
We've
tippy
talked
top.
about this, yeah. He thinks it's PR. I'm not sure. Because as a white rapper,
Here we go.
there other white rappers, it's hard to like them.
Yeah.
Because you are in a predominantly black industry. So it's like it almost feels like this motherfucker took my spot.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like MGK, like, and especially like I had comparisons with him growing up. So I'm like, not only am I getting compared to him, he's success. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as like, there's all these weird things, but I can't avoid the fact that I think MGK is actually a good, like, at the end of the day, he can rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can't avoid the fact that he can rap. Can't run away from that. But I don't know how much of it is PR. Coming back to that.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to tell. Like,
It's just weird how these diss tracks come out when somebody's got an album dropping.
and they're on the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
label.
Could it be maybe it's not PR? Maybe it's piggybacking of, I see this is clearly getting a lot of buzz. For example, Eminem's Overnight album
Right.
to the general public, and then someone just goes who's talented like MGK, and he just goes, I know what I'm gonna do, and then he goes, could it be that of jumping on the back of it?
Yeah, I think so too. And I think MGK wanted to be the one person who did it.
Right.
Because like everybody is like, most people are just like, oh, Eminem's gonna end you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all theoretical though, and
Right.
MGK actually, and I respect him for that. Like,
Yeah.
damn, you stepped it up, and you actually delivered something way better than anybody else who's ever came at him before. has
Yeah, he
delivered.
did it enough to where now it's a conversation.
Yeah,
To where
like-
otherwise it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah.
If it wasn't good, it
and he
wouldn't have
did
been
it
a conversation.
overnight.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, you're
So-
obviously
Now,
capable.
if Eminem made a diss track for you guys, would you guys feel honored? Like, he knows me, like, or would you
I'd be
just
so
be like
happy.
Bittersweet. I'd be
like would it be
"Oh,
bittersweet?
man."
You'd be like, oh man, he's like destroying me, but it's Eminem though, and he's talking about me.
I'm kind of okay with
It'd probably be that like backhanded compliment where
Yeah.
it's like, all right, not only did he know about me, but I'm from his city, and he dissed me, so I must be a threat.
Right. Yeah,
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like is he you're popping up on his radar now?
Yeah.
You know, what's that cliche expression like? Keep working until the people you look up to you like want to
your
compete
peers,
with you or
basically,
something.
yeah.
It's something like around that line.
That's what it is, yeah. And I feel like we're finally just like creeping in that. Like these like rappers, like I don't know if it means anything, but like Yellow Wolf, like they know of me,
Yeah.
and whether or not they ever heard a song by me or they've heard my name, they've heard me in conversation, and I guess that's, it's something. It's growth.
yeah.
It's getting somewhere.
It's something, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. At the same time, rappers are they're rappers, man. It's a competitive fucking game.
It's weird. Well, I mean, I think rap in general though has very much like alpha dog kind of mentality. I mean, a lot of your raps is talking about how successful you are and what you're gonna do if someone messes with you. So if everyone is saying they're the best, you need well then okay, who's the best of the best? So then maybe they're thinking, okay, well if I put down these guys, then it's like a game of King of the Hill. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of it all. Because this is what I don't get. It's like, man, I can't stand that rapper. I got an idea, and they just make a beat and just make a song about it. Like, I'm gonna show you my affection towards you
Yeah,
through a song.
that's what it is. It's
which is now
flattering.
available on iTunes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? Like,
with your face on the front cover.
Yeah.
you think if anything he would just like say on a tweet or in an interview or a video of him just be like, hey, I don't like this guy, he sucks. Instead, he's like, no, I'm gonna make a platinum album and just feature his name and talk about how
Well,
much
it's
I don't
kind of
like
like
him.
a double thing now that you kind of.
It's like a business.
No, it's kind of like not only is it only because you said it like that, now it kind of clicked. It's like not only did I'm going to insult him, but I'm going to do it and prove that I can do what he does better. So it's almost like a double-edged thing
Yeah,
of
yeah,
saying
yeah.
like, I could just say a tweet and insult you, but I'm going to put in the extra time and show that I'm better at the thing we both do. So that's like a second insult within it, you know?
That's what I liked. That's what Eminem did. Yeah, I feel like he did a really good job with like just coming through
Yeah.
with the raps.
Yeah.
With the raps, because that's at the end of the day, that's all I care about is the raps. And like,
Yeah.
he's got the hottest. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I could. I watched the interview with MGK the other night, and he was just like, "No, I'm not responding. I'm not." It was like, all right, so you self-proclaiming that it wasn't good enough when everybody else doesn't.
Accepted the
You know
L.
what I
Right.
mean? Like I don't know, man. You can't come out and then just back up and consider yourself the champ.
Right.
Yeah.
You kind of have to follow through it.
In a people's choice game.
Right.
Like, it doesn't. I don't know.
And then I guess like what's the winner? Is it just I guess Eminem said MGK's bad, so I guess I can't buy his CDs anymore. No one buys CDs, but you know what I mean. Like I'm not gonna listen to him anymore. Like what's the end game? You know?
I don't know. Both of them having next successful 3 years.
I guess
Yeah.
apparently, that's what's gonna.
Pretty sure that's the most views MGK's ever gotten on a video. Is 118 mil.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in like 3 weeks. Eminem's at 1 week.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
was-
the dog came
I
out
thought
of
he was
nowhere.
like low key trying to tell me something. Bro.
Don't bring up the album.
Don't talk about
Well, that's the other thing too, because now, I think MGK should do something else. Because if they just keep going back and forth, then it's gonna be like almost like a TV show. Like, what's
Right.
gonna happen next?
Right.
I'll listen to this album. I'm gonna listen to this album to see what he thinks, and it just goes on and on and on until people stop caring. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's making business for everybody. Maybe that's what it. Maybe
Just maybe.
conspiracy theory. All the people that Eminem dissed, he's also producing for it.
That's
He wants them to
that
make
was
their
another
own
thing I
diss
thought
tracks.
of, too. Of
It's a
like,
thought, yeah.
Of like, hey man, I'm gonna diss you on, because that was my other thing. If it was all PR, which is one of my theories, is that then MGK would be in on it. It'd be like, Eminem's a release an album, think your stuff is great, but I'm gonna run you through the dirt for a minute, and then you run me through the dirt, and then we can be done.
Right.
And he's like, great. They shake hands, 10 grand. I don't know.
I believe even just at that position, like, I don't know, I feel like when a shit ton of money comes in, a lot of things become desensitized.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, like feelings and like, you know, what you take personally, just because it doesn't matter. You're fucking at the top. Like,
Right.
why at the end of the day doesn't matter to you when you still have that many commas in your bank account? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
whatever, you know, like, so I think it's like super, super good for both of them that it's happening. And I don't know. The more I'm seeing it now, and like, I don't know, even watching this interview, knowing they're on the same label,
So they are on the same.
Ah.
level. I didn't.
yeah.
both
Yeah,
on
they
Interscope.
are.
They're
Yep.
both on Interscope.
You know, there's a seeing eye in the pyramid of the dollar bill. if you
That's
look
what
at
I'm
it.
saying.
If you think about it,
There's no gold behind the dollar.
yeah. I don't know. Well, because here's my thing is, so, you know, I think like all of us listening to Eminem since, you know, in diapers, and you know, my thing is like I hear his new stuff and I'm like, what do you still have to be mad about? Like, what are you still upset about?
So much angst.
You literally made a song. You literally made a song called Rap God, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, so it's not like it was called Rap God. I was like really bad. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was good. Like all this other stuff he does is amazing, but he's still like, this is what I'm still mad at. It's like you're still mad.
I think a lot of that is just like, you know, it's like, I don't know. Have you ever watched a video of your stand-up and you're like, man, I killed it then. How am I gonna top it?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you feel like you got to repeat that what you did in that stand-up, and I like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a common thing with creative people in general. Your
Oh,
best
yeah.
work is what you feel like you have to live up to.
Yeah.
When in fact, you don't even have to make something like that.
Yeah, you
It
can
could
make
still-
something different.
Yeah, and I think that's part of Eminem's gripe is his personality conflicts, especially getting clean, because he's like, well, the real I'm not. Who is the real Slim Shady? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't even know. He can't even stand.
Sorry, guys. I got a little cough going on here.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
It's
Got a
just
little
he's holding
sickness
his little
lingering.
cough.
It's lingering. It's been lingering for a long time.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting a physical over here.
Just keep coughing.
But yeah, I don't know. Sometimes like I go back and forth with them. Like I definitely didn't like the last album.
The one before this
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
Revival.
Yeah.
I-
I think, like you said, with his gripe of like, do you mean like his like, because he was so good,
Yeah.
and then he's like, I gotta top it, so he's trying different avenues,
Yeah.
and sometimes it doesn't go so well.
Yeah. He's trying to be like he goes back to trying to like on this album I feel like he did Eminem right where
Yeah.
he just rapped.
He
He
did.
just heard a beat.
He was
like,
upset and he rapped a pretty simple beat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and didn't
Yeah.
he literally posted like didn't overthink this one. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point is don't overthink it because like once you try to make this complex masterpiece is when you're turning to Dewey Cox bringing goats in the studio. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean. It becomes way too much.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's true.
mm,
That's true. One thing I always liked about Eminem was he always seemed a way to tell a story. You know, I mean, you know, you knew stuff about his life.
Biographical,
Was, you know, and you knew, and even like with Slim Shady, like he created these alter egos, and you kind of knew their personalities and stuff like that. That's what I thought like just made him so great was he was a great storyteller. It wasn't just like I'm gonna rap about how much cars and money I have, which is fine, but it's like he would go a little more, he'd go deeper into like the psyche of him and his characters.
I mean,
and stuff.
the
I
song
love that.
Stan was like
Stan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
That's
like-
the first
it's like
song
you-
that came to head.
was like it's just like a story that's like super dark and amazing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's pulled probably from a lot of real situations
Yeah.
that he's dealt with, like whether or not you know the Stan
It's a
situation
real
actually.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's obviously pulling to all these what ifs because it was probably actually in his psyche at the time,
What if?
guilting him a little bit about
Yeah.
these fucking fans because he feels entitled to them. So he's like,
Is there a repercussion to these lyrics that I make?
Yeah.
Which is super like revealing and like breaking of someone who's like so hard and the lyrics are so raunchy and you have to have the attitude of I don't care what you think of them to then say in a song, well, what if someone takes this seriously? What could happen?
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that we're thinking about it right now. It's kind of nuts.
yeah, I don't know.
And then my question is, when a rapper comes out with his first album, can he talk about how rich he is? Because he just sold his album.
I don't like rappers when they come out like flexing
first
money. I was like, all right, so you obviously got rich from drug money invested in your career, because that happens a lot.
Yeah,
like
a lot.
illegal money supplies a lot of these people, man.
Yeah.
Like early, like a lot of the gangster rappers, they come up on some coke money or whatever. It may not be theirs, but it's one of their boys that they know who's in the trap.
Yeah.
Who's about to
So-
put in, yeah.
So how common is that? Because I think the thing that's interesting about music, specifically with rappers, is they always say like it's a satire, it's a character. I didn't really do drugs or this stuff. But then other people are like, no, this is what I did.
Right.
How much of that do you think is real, and how much do you think of that is just like it's just they're creating a character?
That's where you
of a rapper.
separate, because to me, being a rapper, I'm really sensitive about throwing that, like calling somebody a rapper compared to like an entertainer. Like I'm okay with like Future doing what he does as long as he just doesn't say he's a rapper. Like just being you're not rapping, my dude.
That's another thing too
That's
that I
not
had
easy.
without giving it a lot of thought, a lot of qualified thought. I was like, wait, he doesn't rap. Wait, am I wrong that I called him a rapper, or is he putting that on me? Whose fault is this?
Post
Yeah.
Malone is a good example.
Very
for that
good
for
example.
me. He's not a rapper. To
He even
me.
That's it too,
He
yeah.
admitted that he's not a rapper.
But he's
just
in that
makes things
category
rhyme.
for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people.
He's
think,
got more of a was it like a Rasta singing type of stuff? I don't
yeah,
know.
but he
It's-
does it all over hip hop, and he
Yeah.
embraces the culture,
it
at least
sells.
in his style. But a lot of people inside the community think he's a culture vulture, and he's just pandering.
Oh,
Because-
I like that phrase, culture
Yeah,
vulture.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I know. I saw it the other day. on
I was
YouTube.
like,
I was like,
I'm gonna
It's like,
steal
I'm taking
that.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
Like,
that's nice.
Yeah.
Got to use that in a sentence.
Culture
Finally.
vulture is a
Finally.
word.
And
Yeah.
it's basically like you just go into this market because I believe Post is a talented musician, and he just like he probably fucked around and made like a hip hop sounding song one day, and he was like, oh
It
shit,
was White Iverson. that broke
yeah,
him.
and like he was just because this dude is.
But then he's got covers of
Bob
Bob Dylan on the internet.
on YouTube, so I'm like, this man's is obviously like he didn't live the culture, and like I didn't either, but I feel like I experienced a lot of things that hip hop or like a lot of things that they preach, whether home life and stuff going
Yeah.
up, like it wasn't it
It's
wasn't
based on
easy for
plight.
me, bruh. You know what I mean? Like the struggle.
You don't know what I seen.
You don't know what I've been through.
So I guess what do you think about this in terms of rappers? We know like for the general, rappers will explain a certain lifestyle. This is our lifestyle. But do you think that there's anyone that can go beyond that lifestyle but still use rap as a way to express their experiences? Like my first example is thinking of like Lil Dicky.
Yeah.
Like I see him more as a comedian,
Yeah.
but he can rap too.
He's
but
a
like,
good
yeah, he's a
rapper.
really
but
good
you know what I
rapper.
mean, like he can do
rapper.
good stuff, but he's not talking about like yes, he's living a certain way that most of your rappers that you think of are living. You know,
Right.
like you said, like you didn't necessarily live the exact way that way, but you still have your own experiences, your own
Yeah.
thoughts, your own vision, your own creativeness. can you still use rap as a format to express that?
That's what I think. I think that's where you get respect from people in the culture is if you're at the end of the day, you're an MC and you are speaking on what you know of.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important to people. Like a lot of people think, I feel like coming into the game that rap is a super judgmental game and you can't be, this like nerdy looking or whatever. But if you come out swinging like with some lyrics that sound like they're genuine and you know what you're talking about and it sounds like you lived it on top of having some clever witty shit in between or whatever, they're gonna feel you like no matter what. So I think as long as you're being genuine
Just
with
like comedy.
just like comedy.
Who would have known? There's an eye in the period. Okay, so I feel like it's always an interesting thing if we're going about being genuine, coming off as genuine. I think this applies both for comedy and rap and performing. Is it's like, so you have the genuine thought that inspired, let's say, the song or the joke. Then you write it down. That's good. And then you go to perform it. And no one, I think, genuinely is. I mean, I think people are naturally performers, but I don't think people's genuine side is a performer. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then you go and perform it. You perform something that was genuine, but you're performing it in a disingenuous way. And then you realize that doesn't sound genuine. And then you have to go to the third level and perform something genuine in a genuine way and learn how to do that. I think that's the hardest part. Does that make sense?
It does. Absolutely. Yeah.
Our listeners are just like, I don't know.
I didn't sign up for
This is just trying to drive to work. What's going on?
Well, no, it is true though, because there's like, this is the thing I feel, but how do I express it? And then when you first start out, you don't know how to express it yet because it's different on a stage.
A lot
And
of
then
that
you learn to you're learning to get comfortable on stage to where you can bring out that feeling on there. And that's where the tweaking, the practicing, the rehearsal, all this stuff.
A part of being genuine though is coming to terms with your flaws and your bad quality, your worst qualities, and accepting like.
And you build off your good ones.
It's like, am I a little bitch sometimes? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, write that. Like, if I know I can be a little bitch and I can see that I annoyed people, it's okay. And I can talk but it's just, I feel like a lot of people's psyche, like, I don't know, I don't want to say normal people. That's such a bad, normal people, not me. Normal people.
Pedestrians.
Yeah. Residents. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of willingful ignorance. There it is, willingful ignorance in day-to-day like life in general with people, where you just don't, you're not giving time to a certain thought, or it doesn't, you don't. This could be happening because of this way, and you're just not giving into the thought that you could be a problem of it.
Yeah,
You know what I
like
mean?
kind of just taking a moment, and be like, can I reflect for like half a second and see if what's wrong with me, or I'm just going to keep projecting it on other people?
Everybody's gonna get it hard.
Yeah.
Super projection.
Yeah,
screen.
Seriously.
And we also say this too because like for my comedy when I was first going out, I was I started in college, and in college it was just okay, what's the grossest, darkest thing you can think of, and then you just say it. Well, I kept doing that, and it was okay in college because that's what everyone was doing. But then eventually, I was like, well,
no shock.
You feel dirty inside. You feel you got to take a shower after because you're like, well, I'm not being me. I'm just saying whatever I think people are gonna say.
I'm just being ridiculous.
And then I was like, well, what's funny? Like, what's funny about me? Like, I don't do that gross stuff. And I was like, well, wait a minute, maybe I don't. I'm a little bitch, and I'm like, that could be funny, and then you could work with it. And I think like. Just kind of building in that genuine of like who you are, then the audience goes, oh, you're not lying to me. You're telling us, about you, and you're spinning it either through comedy or through music or whatever avenue is best to express that.
Yeah. See, when it like comes down to lyrics too, at the end of the day, for like me personally, like I'll never talk about bitches, money, weed, all that type of shit that normal rappers would do, there's that word. I don't like to say that, but like other rappers would, like I don't come from that. Like I actually have like I come from a middle class family that has worked, and like we're all there, and but like this is something I picked up on. So when I do my actual lyrics, I just go back in the back of my mind, and if it's like an emotional song, I'm thinking about, I try to get like in almost like character mode and go into that, and then I write about what I feel, like whatever bad happened in my life, that's what I'm writing about, because that's all I can think of, because I put myself into that character.
There's a lot of actors that one of the reasons there's a lot of like depression in acting is because like when you're getting in that character,
you would evolve.
They you literally,
it's their life.
Apparently they like I'll talk to like people in theater, they're like, I think about like the worst thing that's happened to me, and they have to keep reliving killing it, and then it's just like it's kind of messed up.
You watch some acting, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're looking at some acting, and that can only like some of these like a lot of things I look at with acting is facial expressions and mannerisms. Like, are these portraying real human like reactions? Like, and sometimes I don't like, unless it's like a sitcom or whatever. I don't like when I'm watching something and I'm reading the script while I'm watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yes. It was that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people say, oh, they trip over their words. And
Yeah.
they're like, but one of the things I notice with actors that you really need to put is quivering, the crying, quivering, the shaking, the trembling. Like, that can't just be acted. You need to
You're
feel
thinking
that
about
gut.
something.
You need
Yeah.
to feel
Absolutely.
that brick in your throat. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to cry. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so funny with like sitcoms when they're like, and like obviously you don't have much expectations because it's TBS or whatever you're watching, but they'll be like come and be like, how you doing? Be like, better than you. It'll be like 0 seconds between how you talk. Like, you didn't think of that just then. Relax.
Yep.
I always think about how they like since it's live, they pause for like the laugh, and they know immediately. It's like, what if there was no laugh and everyone's just sitting there just pausing?
Just
there's
like,
YouTube
what are you
videos
gonna
that
say?
takes the laugh out, and it's kind of fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
You're just like, what am I watching? Or there's the comments are like, some of these people are dead now.
Yeah.
And then
That's,
it's
dead
just
people
all
laughing.
quiet after. And
Yeah.
Cool, I'm going to sit with that for the rest of the
yeah.
day.
Appreciate it.
Unneeded stress. Who's your guys' favorite comedian? Who do you guys like?
That's a good question.
I'd probably say John Mulaney and Bill Burr.
Nice. Bill
Yeah,
Burr's
Bill
fucking
Burr.
Yeah.
hilarious.
He's
Um,
crazy.
in terms of like my favorite kind of style, I think Sebastian Maniscalco.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's just like his whole. He's just so like. It's hard to. I guess it's hard to explain, but he just his performance is just so great. His facial expressions, his body movements, his voices, all that stuff's really great. And then I think with Richie, like with John Mulaney's got great writing. You could tell that he was a writer because his writing is just right there. But yeah, I think Sebastian Maniscalco in terms of performance, it's like I see that and I'm like that's what I would want to do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love. I don't know if you guys like Bo
Burnham.
Oh yeah.
He's so good.
I love.
Oh my
fucking,
god.
I was
He's
watching,
a genius.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think too.
Yeah.
This man's
Genius.
This man's IQ is beyond us.
Yeah.
He's extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
And he hates it.
Yeah.
He fucking hates it. He's burdened with this knowledge. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, you fucking bitch. I relate to you. It's
so good.
I know.
I remember he went to our college, and the only thing I knew was just like I just saw a couple of his YouTube videos. And like, oh, he's performing, and I'm like, what is he gonna perform? Is he gonna reenact whatever?
the video.
And he comes in with the light show and the music up, and I'm like, this guy's a genius.
It's crazy.
Man.
I mean, it was a whole new level. I was like, whoa.
I'll listen to his songs. A song I've heard 100 times. I listened to it. One of his albums I bought, and then I just put it in because I was like, oh, my phone died. I put in an old CD, and I'm like, I found a new joke that I haven't heard, and I've heard the song 100 times, and it's just like, this guy, like 2 years have gone by, I'm like, oh, I never heard that one before because he's
Layers.
so quick.
His
He's-
wordplay. As a
Yeah.
rapper, I'm like, what
You're
the
like,
hell,
damn.
dude? He's saying shit that's I'm like, it's making me like, I need to change pants. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, Jesus. Like, the wordplay is nuts. He's so smart and just gifted. Like, what the hell? I was watching what was it? It was one of those Showtime specials where they have the comedian roundup where they
Yep.
just sit and bullshit,
Yeah.
tell stories. He was there with like Ray Romano.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Judd Apatow. And like, there was one point where he was talking about his favorite comedian, and his favorite comedian is this Dutch comedian, and he uses a black sock. And one of the comedians was like, I already don't like him. Bo was like, oh, all right, it's a white sock then.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
He's so quick. It's like all these
What
people
the
who are,
hell?
he's like 22.
with
at the
these
time.
like
Yeah.
seasoned comedians,
Yeah.
and the wit, the confidence, and I
Yeah.
know this dude is like this weird, quirky, like
Yeah.
fucking shy, like guy, and unless he's performing, you know what I mean? That's
Right.
where he becomes that. So I'm like, damn, dude, what the hell?
Do you guys
Insane.
notice that a lot, or do you guys kind of have that thing too? At least maybe when you're first starting out, where like, like I consider myself more introverted,
Yes.
but then when I go on
Absolutely.
stage, I can go nuts. I can, and then
Yeah.
people, and then once I get off the stage, then I'm back down to
And
like,
you're almost awkward.
to like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, hi.
That was a good
Hi,
show.
I'm gonna go home now, but it's 8:30. I
wanna
gotta go to
go.
bed. You know what I mean? Like,
What's your first thought after getting off stage? Can I go home?
I go home, but the second I'm on stage, I'm just like, bam, what's going on, buddy? This guy over here, all right?
Like won a Kids' Choice Award.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of do the same thing though.
Yeah. No, it's definitely similar for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. You get that adrenaline dump too when you get off stage and on top. Like, we're all definitely, I would say, introverts. But I have to say, I think just because of life has evolved, but I think I was more of a naturally shy person back in the day, and the music has slowly built my confidence to where even in social situations I'm more comfortable with like talking and expressing myself because you guys are nodding at what I'm saying. You're listening. You know what I mean? It's those little things. People aren't just like looking at you like with a dead face. Like it helps to have reassurance from other people too. And I might be more of an extrovert now than I was before, but I am definitely a recluse and a hermit.
Yeah.
More so than an introvert, I would say. Yeah. Because I feel like I am a social bug a little bit. Yeah. Like,
I think a lot of that comes from, like, a lot of the creativity side of it comes from spending a lot of time up here. And so that's got to come with the territory, at least a little bit, I feel. You know?
Definitely think so.
But yeah, back to Bill Burr. So with heckling, I wanted to bring this up then, and him being, like, one of my favorites. So he was doing a comedy festival a few years ago, and it's you could find it on YouTube. It's garbage quality, but you can hear it just fine. And he tells the story in a different interview of where, so it's just an outside comedy festival. It starts during the day. It's just like not ideal for stand-up, and it's way too long. And he's telling us about this, and everyone's bombing. It's just like a crowd that was just really hammered and just not about it at that time. They're sick of it, and so it's just. These are headliners that are just bombing. And then Bill Burr goes up and he says a line and they just start booing him. And then he spends he's doing a set and it's going all right, he's saying. And then he says a line, they start booing him. And then he's got 12 minutes left of his set and he just uses it to just destroy the crowd. And it's like thousands of people and he's picking them out and it's the most offensive. He's just like, I just saw red and I just started saying the most offensive things, and he goes, I want him over. He's like, I got 10 minutes up here, I'm not getting off, and they'd be like 9 minutes, and then he'd keep going, he'd be like 8 minutes, and they still go, and he's like, it was insane. Yeah.
I would like to see that.
It's crazy. You can find it. It's like, I think you can just say Bill Burr heckling, and it'll probably come up eventually. There's so much of it, but one of those.
Late nights on YouTube. Heckling videos. Right?
That's literally the second half of it. It'd be like, let's see what.
Bill Burr owns heckler.
That's what it is. And then you watch it be like, it owns them? I don't know. It's just like, destroy. Yes, destroy. Asterisks. And it's just him like, shut up. And then the video ends.
It's like, thanks.
There's so many YouTube videos of that, of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Clickbait. Yeah, there's so much shit out there. You can just
destroy.
Clickbait is awesome. Top 10 reasons you should clean your house. Number 8's a doozy.
Number 8 will shock you.
Shock you.
It's that BuzzFeed formula.
Yeah, dude.
It works though. I'll tell you that. I can't tell how many times I've clicked on that video.
Yep.
And like I'm waiting for number 8.
Disappointed.
Apparently,
and then it's like
you can be smarter than clickbait and still be baited to click it.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter because
you can be better than clickbait.
and still click it because it's the words. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's like one that's like
but what if it's true?
What if
things around the house and it's like, oh, I got a broken pencil. Number 8 will shock you. Puts it in the sharpener and it just starts shocking. It's like, oh wow, I never knew that.
I can't remember what 1 through 7 were, but apparently it wasn't.
But that was the one. That was the one.
Pencil should have been number 2.
Yeah, I guess.
Because you click on it and you're like, I don't want this to be the one time this is a good list.
Yeah, and everyone knows it besides me. So I gotta click on it.
10 ways to sharpen a pencil. There's so many funny like satire videos of that'll be like top 10 days of the week.
Yeah.
It's just like
What?
Schmear's Day.
Oh man.
Top 10 days.
Top 10.
There's 7 days.
Number 8 will shock you. I know.
Because it's not
It
there.
already has.
I'm pretty sure 9 and 10 will too. Oh man.
That's fucking funny, actually. That's really good.
Is there anything about BuzzFeed? Probably not. What's the buzz with BuzzFeed?
You on MySpace, bro?
You got AOL. What's the deal?
You got Friendster?
If you ever want to know, like, people have always been like just like desperate for more social interaction. Do you remember on AIM when there was like bots that you could add?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Smart
Yeah.
Child.
If that, yeah,
Smart
if,
Child.
if the fact that Smart Child exists doesn't let you know that people have always been more lonely than they like to admit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can offend Smart Child. It's pretty easy.
It's actually quite easy.
I feel like the new Smart Child is Siri. Like,
Yeah.
the way
That's
you-
what it is.
Yeah, Siri abuse.
Ask Siri divide by 0 and sees what happens.
Dude, Siri actually, you can ask her what you want to be for Halloween. Like it has whatever the little gag for that.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's RNG or random, but like she gave me the perfect answer for me. I was like, Siri, what should I be for Halloween? The scariest thing I could think of, a human hypothetical question. I was just like, what the fuck? This bitch is on these levels, man. What the hell? You serious?
Yeah, that's always funny with like comics.
I think you need to put on a life vest 'cause that's about to get deep.
Yeah.
We're going.
I think Bo Burnham even starts with that. He's like, "Do you guys like hypothetical questions?"
Yeah.
And just like leaves it at that.
Oh, Bo Burnham's so funny.
Oh, sorry, rhetorical questions.
Rhetorical
Like, I don't know
questions,
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what a world on fire sounds like. The whole beating off segment. That was beating off in A minor.
An A minor.
Not the felony case, by the way.
Not the
I was like,
felony, but the music note.
bruh,
So
you're
many
like
layers.
years ahead of everybody.
He's
Yeah.
so yeah. I hope he does more. Like, did you guys see third grade? Oh,
Eighth
eighth
grade? No.
It's so good.
I heard it
It's
was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
It's so
I'll
awkward.
probably watch it. It's his first movie.
Yeah.
He just keeps impressing, like, I feel like everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, his peers especially. Like, seeing him in that group of comedians, they,
he's, like,
they were
right
looking
there.
at him like he's something, like,
Yeah.
unique. Like, they were, like, taking him out. You can see, you know, infatuation in people's faces, and they were infatuated by this kid. Like,
Yeah.
damn. These are guys who've been there, done it,
Mark
still
Maron
doing it.
was there. Yeah, that's crazy.
One of my favorite jokes from that was like I forgot who it was, what context it was in, but he was talking about a comedian writing jokes, and then he was like, "Yeah, I saw his stand up. That's how I knew he was going to be a good writer."
Yeah.
And like, and I was just like, "That's funny."
Thanks.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think people have ever been
Finally.
abducted by aliens?
Yes. Yes.
Tell
All
me
right.
more.
So,
All right. So this
Alright,
is
wait,
this is
I
where I
tell
come
you
but
in.
Yeah.
I try to come on like I said this to Matt the other night. It in my experience with the supernatural, I feel like I haven't. In my lack of experience, I should say.
Oh, you're
I just
wow.
got to look. He's like,
Sorry, that was
Just-
very misleading.
Whoa.
Very misleading.
Kenny's like, I haven't heard this either.
He's like, this explains the red hair. This explains
so
it.
much. No, but I just haven't. I believe, man, but I just haven't had a cathartic experience by myself that I couldn't explain.
Right.
That I couldn't rationalize. That I couldn't think of what it could be.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
Well,
like
that was after we saw the Nun, and we were talking about
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
demonic
yeah.
possession was real.
yeah,
How's that? Did that?
yeah, it was pretty good.
it's
I like the Conjuring. I think
I like The Conjuring, one of my
those
favorites,
are great
so that's
horror.
why I
I feel like
asked.
those are some of the best
Yeah.
like horror. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, if you
The
Not
like
the
it.
Nun.
None?
No.
Yeah,
But
okay.
all the other ones leading up to it that are written by the same people.
Yeah.
that I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, James
They're
Wan,
all tied together,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Annabelle, Nun, Conjuring.
Yeah.
Insidious, not really.
James
Insidious,
Wan,
same
same director.
person,
Yeah,
separate.
you could
line.
tell that's why I used Patrick. Whatever.
So good.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
really good in that. And very good. I suck at names.
Yep,
pronouncing
that
names.
person.
Got
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, her sister actually plays the girl in the
In the
In
nun.
the
in the
Nun,
Nun.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they actually try to do some bloodline type deal, like
Mhm.
because like
Yeah.
they tie it in well. I think the Nun overall as a movie was like, but it provided a good backstory.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
it could.
That's what I think that
more
movie
of a
was just all
sci-fi,
about, was
like,
pretty much
thriller than a
backstory
horror
for
movie. Yeah.
future movies, and then they can build off of that.
Okay.
That's
good.
what I thought.
So if
That's
you
what I
like The
interpreted.
Conjuring,
Yeah.
this is like just
You'll
like-
understand,
As if
like-
you guys are like in the movie. This is what this interview is being.
Yeah.
Like, so if you like The Conjuring, they should come
Yeah.
out, see the Nun.
The Nun.
Where can they find you? At
Absolutely.
Tickets are
Nun.
on sale.
Tickets are on sale. Working with James Wan was great. He's a great director.
We'll be at the Royal Oak Imagine Theater.
It is crazy though how many, like, we've got to this almost, not, I don't want to say binge watching, but these movies now where there's just so many, they want to make a giant story in
Universe.
the,
Yeah.
the whole
Cinematic
universe versus
universes,
just
yeah.
like one movie and then you got to make another one, or you base it off of a book. It's like, we're just gonna do this world and we're just gonna create the world with all these different movies.
It kinda
you know?
is.
That's a good selling point.
Yeah, is that scary from a psychological perspective though? That we need, it's basically like having a giant soup with everything in it, and not having separate tastes and flavors.
Right.
So it's like,
I like
you know,
that,
it's
yeah.
like Netflix. Everything's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't. It's like Walmart. Everything's in Walmart. Is it good to have just these big giant one of every, like, you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
a good point too, because it kind of
You keep just messing up these things.
I'm super fidgety.
I've never.
so-
You're just like.
it kind of sacrifices I mean, some of the there's some, I don't know any word that I'm trying to say right now.
individuality.
Yeah, because like, and it's also not as safe financially to just say Breaking Bad is just going to be one season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or just
Yeah.
saying that, just end it, 13 Reasons Why, one season. Did you need a second? I didn't see any of it, but kind of
Yeah.
just being uncomfortable and saying, we're just going to end it here. It's a full story.
Yeah.
Heroes, season 1. It didn't need a season 2. Just there's a lot of things like that of just, you have to keep making a world. It's a little less safe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, I mean, even think about even with the Star Wars stuff. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of these movies now, it's just like, well, they put the Star Wars name in it. That's about it. You know,
Right.
it's not. It's a whole different thing. But I think what's interesting with the James Wan stuff is it's not like back in the day where it was like Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th 2, Friday the 13th 3, and they got like
Right.
18 of them. It's like they like the Nun is like it's part of that world, but it's a different part of the story.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, this character's back from the dead again,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's coming, and oh, he's coming
Yeah.
for
It's
safe.
20 more movies.
I like
Yeah.
the first one. You're gonna love the second
You're
one.
gonna
It's
love
the
it.
same movie.
Oh, you want some more of the shit? Here, come here. Well, yeah, we know you'll eat. That's what it reminds me of a little bit. Like, I don't know. It's like it's a little less coming up with more. It's like a remaster and a remake.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it's kind
Yeah.
of that vibe. Like, we can make a sequel to this. We can make a like inherent sequel. Like, it doesn't relate, but it does. And
Right.
it ties in. Like, I don't know.
That's why I feel like, other than the fact that it was just amazing, was why Get Out was so amazing. It was like
It was so
it was just original. It was just its own
So
thing, and that's so rare now. So anytime something is, they're like, and it's an original screenplay, and that's caps lock. You know what I mean? Like,
no way,
original
who does
screenplay.
that?
You didn't base this off an '80s song.
Yeah.
Like,
some obscure book from
like,
Russia.
It's like Pitbull.
Yeah.
Like, he's just gonna keep
Mr. Worldwide.
No,
305.
I can't remember who it is. If it's like Jason Derulo, all of his songs are tracks over '90s electronic music. Every single song, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
Robert
I remember that
Song.
when I was 6.
Hearing it in like fucking Walmart or something, like
Right.
some over the
Well, that's my big dilemma, man, is because I keep thinking of, okay, you know, the 90s, they had this, early 2000s. Then it's like, what about 2010s? Well, we just really like the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it.
The
We
90s
just,
are back, and you
It's just
just
a-
believe number
it's just
8.
the 90s are back.
kids
It's like, why don't we have something new? But then at the same time, the old man in me, whenever something does come out that's new, I'm just like, it's not as good.
Yeah.
Not as good as the 90s.
I had a thought. I was like, isn't it kind of funny that we spend our whole, like, this is really about to sound way too philosophical.
Get there.
There's
I was
never
like,
too philosophical at a pizza and hummus
yeah,
podcast.
we spend our whole life like moving away from youth, yet all of our best things that we enjoyed was at the youth, and
Yep.
nothing beats what we experienced during our youth, yet we're just gonna die and run away from it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like so funny that the older you get, the more bitter you are because you're not young anymore, and you only, I don't know.
You're running away from it at the same time that you're running towards it.
Yeah.
And so you're just in limbo.
That's what it is. Like, that's why I feel like, you know, what we're doing, we're not doing it for the money, but money is going to be the thing that keeps you young.
Yeah.
It's going to keep your
Yep.
youth, because you can afford to have the freedom and mentality of a kid.
To be a kid. You can afford to be
You can
a kid.
be
Also good
responsible.
healthcare.
with-
Yeah.
Yeah. You can just like, you can ease up,
Wrinkles,
dude.
lotion.
A lot of the things that make people bitter and jaded is just like, like redundant experiences, like over and over and over.
That's a good way to
again.
put it. is
Yeah.
redundant experience, and then you kind of just lose track of it because you're like, well, this is what we do.
Yeah.
But you haven't thought about it that much.
Yeah.
You're like, well, this is what I do.
So sports, you're
Yeah.
saying sports. Well, think about it. Like I always say, it's like, okay, you know, think about Thanksgiving time comes down. All your uncles are there. They're 50, 60 years old. And they're watching 20-year-olds play a game that they used to play when they were kids. And you're just sitting there and you're like, wait a minute, why are we spending all this time watching people play? It's a kid's game. There's kids, they have T-ball and stuff. Like, it's a game. It's not like, oh, we're gonna watch these guys, do finance or something. Like, no, they're playing the game, and they're all like in their 20s. Like, oh yeah, Verlander, he's gonna be good this year. I don't know if Verlander's even retired or not. I don't know what he's doing, but
He's on a different team now.
I don't even know. But you know what I'm saying?
Who?
I know sports. Like I think that like a lot of people watch sports because it reminds them of when they were kids and they watch sports, or maybe they watch sports with their dad who used to play sports. And it kind of goes on.
There probably is a
and on.
much deeper thing to it than we're giving them credit to.
I feel like nostalgia is a hell of a drug, and you can nostalgia trip off of everything. That's how I feel like a part of why people never move on is because you just don't.
I keep wanting it to be as good
I
as
love
it was.
this. I love this. I love this. I like this is, and you're telling yourself this is what you loved, and like I don't know. It's like trying tomatoes if you don't like tomatoes. You know what I mean?
It's kind of weird because there's this one book and it's like the whole thing. It's like the physiology of happiness, whatever it is. But it was talking about, and it kind of relates to kind of trying to relive what you know was good and thinking it's going to still be as good. Like there's like, let's say you guys are going out to get coffee and you have the expectation. There's one without expectations, one with expectations. You have the expectations that you guys are going to get coffee, it's going to be delicious, and you're going to have good conversation. Before you even went, you had that thought and you went up here.
Bar.
Yep. You went up here. And then this person didn't move, no expectations. And then let's say you get coffee tastes bad, conversation was bad, just not what you expected. Immediately, without your control, you're now lower than you would have been ever, and you still haven't moved. So it's like there's so much harm that can come from like expecting it to be how it was. You just want it
or
again.
recreating something that already happened. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I noticed as a kid, like, because I would always like as a kid. I still to this day there's these fond memories where I'm like, man, I had so much fun that day. Like that day, we rode bikes around the neighborhood. We fucking hit a teddy bear with a golf club, like stuff like that. These like
the silly,
weird memories that are so thick and potent in your mind that like. What was it? What was like? What did the air smell like? What was it that made me feel like that? And it was just because you didn't.
Because your brain's not fully developed yet.
You gave in. You surrendered. I like that word a lot.
Yeah.
It's like you have to surrender to the moment in order for it to develop into something new. Like, or else you're gonna just be waiting for it to be what you. I don't know.
Waiting for it to be what it will never be.
And then usually what people will do is they'll have that memory, so they go out and they buy the most expensive bike, and they go out and find like the most expensive teddy bear, or they do whatever.
All right, it's gonna be
And
so
all
good.
the golf clubs are like, we're gonna recreate this in a certain way, and then they do it and they're like, it's not that good.
Could you imagine taking this super literally of you just being like, you're sitting out there with a Titleist and just like the teddy bear that you made at Build-A-Bear, and you're just sitting there with your badge on, the best day ever, it's about to be alone. You're just like, all right, here it goes. You hit it, you're like, what the hell am I doing?
What is going on, man?
Just have a huge existential crisis. Like, oh my god.
Oh my god! I gotta go back to art school.
Yeah, that'd be a meltdown.
No, but I mean, I listen. I'm a victim of it all the time, man.
Yeah.
Like I grew up like just constantly playing video games and stuff. So then I go to these stores that sell these old video games, and all of a sudden I get this immediate like, oh my gosh, that game was amazing, and it's only like $10. Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. They're so much better than the newest Call of Duty. And then I play it. I'm like, I can't even see it. Like, why? What is it? Squares, triangles?
So fucking.
Why is it so bad? It's like ruins it. So now there's certain points in my life where I'm like, I try to keep it in the past. I try to keep it nostalgic because I know like once I see it, it's not gonna be that great. Or you always think of when I was a kid, life was so much easier. Well, when you were a kid, life didn't feel that much easier. It was just life. That's what you had to do. You had to overcome it. There were things you were afraid of. There were things that you hated. There were things that you couldn't do. And so you got to kind of take it all in with even today, because then when you get older, like, oh man, when I was in my 20s, it was so much easier. Everything was so much easier.
You're gonna say that for sure.
You're gonna say that, even though you're like, well, and then you look back and you're in your 20s, you're like, I just had anxiety all the time.
I never stopped worrying about all of it.
I was literally dying. Physically.
My brain wouldn't stop. Yeah.
Doctors were puzzled.
I puzzled a physician.
This cord, dude.
Are you gonna blame the cord?
You have a record.
It's the first time I actually said something.
How many times is it?
Three?
Six.
This is a record.
Six. Because my foot did it 3 times.
That used to be my go-to. Those were my go-to headphones,
They're nice
and that maybe
headphones.
popped out once out of the 50 episodes that
Dude,
we've
if
done.
I'm,
here
if
for
I'm
an
the
hour
guy
and
to
a half.
pop anything out,
Yeah.
if you're like, how did that thing end up in the top corner left, specifically at a 90-degree angle? Oh, Jeremy was probably.
Yeah.
Jeremy was there.
Yeah.
Are you a foot tapper? Do you tap? Yeah.
I'm fidgety.
Oh, yeah.
Fidgety. Yeah.
You should see me. I'll be like in like a meeting, and someone will be like, "Are you planning on leaving like right now?" I'll be like, "Why? No."
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
You look
keep it
like
in
you're
rhythm.
preparing to sprint.
Just tell me when to go, coach.
I'm ready to go, but not right now. If you don't need me to be, it's like,
What do you
"All
need?
right, I'm ready."
Are there 6 fidget spinners? Can I have 6 fidget spinners? Is that possible? I'm like in a corporate meeting playing with
You're
Legos.
doing this at the same time, like. Damn.
Yeah.
That's the thing about radio.
Yeah.
So
Staying
you guys
in.
asked us about our favorite comedians. What are your
Yeah.
guys? Who are your guys'
Yeah.
favorite rappers?
That's why I asked you guys that question, because it's hard to as it being one yourself, it's probably a hard answer because
Yeah.
you pull from so many for different
So
reasons.
many, yeah.
For different
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
Like I listen to Tech Nine because that's rap porn to me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people call Tech Nine your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah.
Like because he is so technical.
Yeah.
Like he is just like technically impressive, and you're like, damn, that's really good. But then, people, Macklemore. I don't know, whatever Macklemore. I mean, I like Macklemore, but like, there's people have different things to offer in their material. Like, I guess Tech Nine is probably my favorite rapper.
Yeah.
Just because I've been mostly dedicated to him as a fan. But the last 4 years, I've actually stopped like almost listening to rap entirely.
I hear that a lot with
Same.
Yeah.
comedians. Where like I keep, but tell me why.
It's just, well, they're coming back to the age thing. I could just be getting old, but I just feel like, and I think I have a valid reason, but everybody would love to think they have a valid reason.
Right.
But I feel like, I don't know, like what I grew up on back in my day. I don't know. I felt like they, telling stories. People were talking about something. At least the storytelling made it to the radio.
Right.
At least it found its way. You know what I mean? Like hip hop, yeah, it's about flexing, it's about doing this, but it's about grown men telling their struggle, their come up. Like it's about that's what it's been about. And like I feel like it's more I don't know, just desensitized in general, like the money bitches thing.
Yeah.
And it's so free now that you could almost be like borderline rapey comments just because of how decent. And I've heard rappers say it because a lot of these newer rappers just go in the booth and freestyle, like they don't even write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like I feel like my craft lost a little bit of soul in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would love to bring that back, but I feel like I have to pull from like pop or like what
Yeah.
I mean. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's not such a bad thing. I'm saying if you're not gonna pull from, if you can't pull from it from current, from the current genre, at least current day genre, then who knows what kind of new sound it'll bring if you're pulling from other places. I don't know if you guys saw Bring It On when they had to make
Absolutely.
Classic.
When they had to
Classic.
bring it
original
on.
dance, they pulled from mimes.
Yeah.
I am gonna leave.
Well, my
There we go.
I don't never see me again.
my dad always says that the best musicians can pull inspiration from any music genre. So they got to be able to listen to all different types and get different ideas and different inspirations in different ways that people tell stories, where they play their instruments, everything, and then you can create your own new sound.
Yeah.
So I think that that's valid.
I think too what a lot. Sorry.
No, you're good.
A lot of like the stuff we do too is like we don't even like to like. I hate talking about it like that. We don't even like to do this, we don't do that. But like, I don't know. I feel like we're not afraid to explore, like, add the hip hop element to any type of genre.
Yeah.
Like, I have 2 acoustic guitar songs. Kenny's borderlining like pop country rap. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Seriously.
But it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's really good, and it sounds like it all belongs there. And I think that's the only rule when it comes to making a song is it sounds like it belongs there.
Right.
And there's no other rule. You can break the genres, you can break the pattern.
Right.
you
And
know?
like also like sometimes I come in with the vibe. If I'm like up north for the weekend and I hear country, like I'm on my way home or I'm going to his house after and I'm just cold beer, and a blue James, and like I get over there and I'm like, guys, listen, I need to make a country song right now.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then we all start building off each other, and then what do you know? It's like country, hip hop, pop.
Yeah.
Country
rock,
and hip
you know?
hop to me are parallels of each other. Country
Yeah.
and hip
We
hop.
were always talking about we always talk about how it's interesting that people always say country and hip hop are very, very specific with their demographic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And by that I mean like people will say I like everything but rap. or I like everything but country, and that's it.
I feel like those are the
the only
are the
ones.
two
Yeah.
extremes.
Well, I like everything but dubstep as well. But I like dubstep.
No, but it's well, because it kind of goes back to what we were talking about with hip hop. Is like there's a lot of these rappers, they have a certain character of like this is what you have to do. This is the lifestyle you have to have, and country has that too. It's like this is the lifestyle you have to have. You can't drive a Prius if you talk about country. Yeah. You're driving a truck.
Right.
If you haven't had a dog that's died, you're not country.
Oh,
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some sort of tractor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your wife never stays with you. She's
Never,
always
ever.
gone.
You're
Why
an
do you think the
alcoholic.
song
You
goes-
love Bud
Alcoholic.
Light. You know?
You love Bud Light.
With the logo facing out.
Yeah.
It took me like 13 seconds. Every said cold beer,
Bo
brand
Burnham.
makeup, and it's
Bo
He's a
Burnham.
fucking scarecrow.
Well, going back to Bo Burnham, his thing about the pandering song
Yeah.
with the country
Oh,
music,
yeah.
it's
Yep.
genius.
Legalize my pandering.
Yeah. So
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
So what about you guys? What terms of rappers? What kind of rappers do you guys listen to or like?
Tech Nine, like I said, mostly for me. I mean, I
Same.
like Kendrick, but I don't know. I've drifted away from it mostly. Eminem's new album is my shit. I like that a lot.
What about music in general, in addition to rap, like everything?
John Bellion.
John Bell.
Yeah,
is my
he's good.
John Bellion, okay.
I love John Bellion. Jess Glynn. She's a red-haired British singer. I really like her a lot.
I wonder why. Got red hair, long
She
red hair.
speaks to my soul, dude.
You like
She's
a
my
lot
soul
of
sister.
instrumental stuff too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just like probably I don't know. It's like one of those things where you like you clean houses all day. You don't want to clean your own house.
Right.
I don't want to listen to music sometimes. A lot of the times, I probably don't listen to music enough these days, and I actually kick myself for that sometimes.
And the only time I really listen to new music is I'm on like Spotify radio or like Pandora or something like that, and then randomly a good song will eventually come along, and then I go over there and then I show them that, and they're like, God, we don't listen to enough music.
You're
and
like, I
then
forgot
it's
there's
like,
music
yeah,
like
it's like
every day,
that's
yeah.
what I'm like. I gotta keep it like with the kids nowadays. I gotta know what the
keep
kids
it
are.
with
them. I don't
know
The
what they're
kids,
doing,
you
but-
know?
Kenny does usually like me and Matt will we'll bring up stuff here and there, but Kenny's usually one bringing the most amount of new songs to the group most of the time.
Unless you
I
go to
try
a
to.
strip club and you kind of Shazam all the songs there.
Yeah.
Shazam. Well, I was in line for the Millennium Force, and I found a great song.
Okay, that was one time that
Was the Millennium Force, was that a stripper name? I got a little confused there.
Oh no.
Please welcome to stage Millennium Force.
Cause she can drop.
It's like Gravedigger
she just
or
falls
something,
from the
dude.
ceiling.
An 80-degree angle drop.
Was there anything you guys kind of want to talk about? Anything you guys were kind of thinking
Doesn't
about?
be related to anything.
Just we got the shows coming up.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna plug
about it.
those.
I
in a
have a
minute.
single dropping November 1st. This is my biggest promotion right now. What I'm pushing is
That's
the single.
awesome.
Just announced it yesterday too.
Okay.
So it's just that's it basically.
So when
November
is that
1st.
dropping?
November 1st.
November
Yes,
1st.
sir.
And where can they find it?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
YouTube.
Yeah, it's got a video-
Yeah,
video
it's gonna
everywhere.
drop with the video and the song
That's
at the same
so
time.
awesome.
And
Oh, that's
then
nice.
EP is gonna follow that up.
Okay, perfect.
Hell yeah! So
iTunes, Spotify. You're on Spotify, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Right?
it's a little fishy right now, but
Right, why's that?
we're literally
Working
working
that
with
out.
it because.
Okay.
Yeah, there's politics with
Yeah.
everything verified on Instagram, you know what I mean. So it's we're working with a company called In Groups right now, and they're basically helping us. What it is we share a Spotify with a Mexican band called REDD.
Red.
Ah.
So when you type in Red,
Yeah.
this Mexican
Mexican
band pops
band
up,
comes up.
so it's harder to find us.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't know if we're also sharing revenue.
Ooh, so that's where it's getting political.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay.
but we need to be verified. It's gonna happen when this the single drops and the EP drops.
Yeah.
That's the plan. We want to go on ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, these upcoming months are probably the busiest months we've ever seen.
That's a
yet.
good sign.
Yeah,
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So
We're excited.
October, November dates. Where are you guys gonna be? Give me something.
October 16th, we'll be at the Russell Building doing that acoustic hype live session.
awesome, yeah.
Yep. And then October 23rd, we're gonna be at Mod Sun, which
St.
is
Andrews.
St. Andrews. And then
Is it the 27th
October
for Fright Fest after
30th.
party?
Isn't that 30th or
That's the 30th.
Is it
yeah,
the 30th?
30th.
Okay.
Fright Fest after party. Where's that? Crowfoot?
Yep.
No, Magic Stick.
Magic Stick. Oh.
Magic Stick or Majestic Theater.
Okay.
One of
So
those.
yeah.
One of them two.
Okay. So yeah. But the two that are upcoming, I'm pushing Mod Sun the most right
Yeah.
now. I
Yeah.
want people to come out to that one because I feel like that's good one for people to come out to.
Okay, where can they find you? Where can they follow you?
Instagram at Rapper Red. Everything at Rapper Red.
Okay.
Rapper REDD.
Perfect.
Okay. What about you guys? Where can they find you guys?
Everything is at MVC Mowl.
Everything's at KYNE
Official.
on Instagram, and then other than that, it's KYNE.
Perfect.
Sweet.
I got my hair on your table, guys. Sorry.
Perfect.
No, you're good. You're good. We can clone you for later.
Well, thanks for coming with us.
Yeah, dude.
On this
Thanks for having us.
Dude, thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
Uh oh, here we go.